Chiefs fall to the Philadelphia Eagles 20-17 on a Sunday afternoon, falling to 0-2 on the season, and we have a lot of things to talk about in this game. Kent Swanson here with Maddie Lane on the KCSN postgame show. Oh man, Maddie. I don't know where I don't want to come out the gate with the things that are irritating me. The Chiefs weren't good enough to win this football game today. The way in which they lost was infuriating for a lot of different reasons, both inflicted and illegally. But I don't know where to go from here. How are you feeling after this one, Matthew?
Honestly, it's a little bit of both. It's a little bitter. I don't know. Sweet's not the right word, but I think if you would have told me going into this game that the Chiefs would play the Philadelphia Eagles close, given the injuries that they were dealing with and how they looked in week one, and they would lose a very closely contested game, essentially down to like the last couple plays, I'd be like, okay, coming out, that's not so bad. I wouldn't feel too bad about it. I'd say they must have done some pretty good stuff that would make you more excited going forward than necessarily worried about the right now. You tell me that going in. The problem is I had to watch this game. I had to witness it with my own eyes, and the Chiefs put themselves in position to actually win. And all of the best parts of this team for the past ever, literally the best parts of any player or person associated with the Kansas City Chiefs in this game made mistakes down the stretch that cost them. Every single part that you want to put up as surefire Hall of Famers, best player, coach, whatever for the Kansas City Chiefs made mistakes down the stretch that I think cost them this game. So while on one hand, I want to say, oh, okay, they played a very good NFC team, very close, despite clearly being shorthanded, they also cost themselves and shot themselves in the foot. And it wasn't the, quote unquote, not as good players doing it. It was the best players on the team. So that's really frustrating.
Yeah, they made a ton of mistakes, and a lot of key players made a ton of mistakes in this game. And it is, it's a little bit, I don't say jarring. I think it's just kind of the come down, and it's like all good things. I'm not saying this version of the Chiefs is cooked or anything like that, but you're definitely seeing the wears, and you're seeing the cracks, and you're seeing the signs of how hard it is to keep a band together. And how hard it is to keep these things going the way that they have, because so many key players and key veterans that they've leaned on over the course of their time in Kansas City made big mistakes, right? Starts in the first half, false start by Kareem Hunt pushes the Chiefs farther out of farther range in range of Harrison Butker, who then misses the field goal, short field touchdown after that. The only touchdowns that the Eagles scored were on short fields today, by the way, just so you know. And then, hey, look, the Chiefs finally get something going. The defense is playing out of their mind. They're playing fantastic. And the Chiefs put this long, sustained drive together, which the Eagles really weren't able to do all game, by the way, either. They give it up right at the end, right at the goal line, an option route, an angle route by Travis Kelce off of his hands into the hands of rookie Andrew Makuba at the goal line, denying the Chiefs the chance of taking a lead and really controlling this game. So just giant mistakes in this game by a lot of the key people that have been part of this dynastic run for the Chiefs over the last few years. Just very disappointing in a lot of different ways. Beyond just some of those key players, it still was just a disappointing performance from this team.
Yeah, I mean, again, I get it. I agree. There's some definite disappointment, but then, I think you look at some of the bright side. I actually like some of the stuff the Chiefs tried to do with the run game. It wasn't overly impactful, but I actually thought how they were getting to their runs was significantly better in this game, going under center. They were actually finding some success, more than they found the last time they played the Eagles on the ground, because they changed up what they were doing in the run game, which I thought was a great move. Defensively, I don't know how much of this can carry over, right? I don't know if it's sustainable, but what Spags was able to do defensively to keep them in this game, I thought was incredibly impressive. Now, can you just run cover 0 70% of the time for the rest of the season? I don't know. Why not? It seemed to work in this game, but there was the coverage seemed a little bit better. There was a lot of energy on the defensive side of the ball. They were hitting, they were tackling, they were closing distance. There was stuff to like from this game. It just really sucks when it comes down to it that I think Andy Reid, your head coach, made a couple questionable decisions that impacted the game pretty big. You have your longest tenured player in Travis Kelce, I think, right? It goes out there and drops a ball on the end zone that's a walk-in touchdown that gives you the entire control of this game, and it gets returned for a big, long play. That was brutal. Mahomes definitely, had one of the worst misses you're ever going to see from an NFL quarterback on Tyquan Thornton on that final touchdown drive they had. That first one that he missed where he's wide open. I'm sorry, you expect any college level quarterback to make that throw. There's no excuse that can be made for that. Now, he kind of makes up for it later by throwing another couple very catchable balls, one of which was caught to Tyquan Thornton downfield. So you kind of give him back a little bit there. But those guys making mistakes, I almost feel like outshines what there was actually nice and good to be coming out of this game.
Yeah, I think there was bright spots for sure. There was some bright spots. I think there's some stuff to talk about the rookie class at some point here, but I don't really want to do it 6 minutes into this show. I think
why the best player on the offense side of the ball was a rookie. So why not talk about Josh Simmons off the top? I think he was the best player on the offense.
He was awesome and competitive, and just fought throughout the game. Even when he was not maybe winning every single rep, he was still competitive. You saw him chasing down Andrew Makuba and saves a touchdown, he delays the touchdown because the short field touchdown strikes again for the Eagles. But I thought Josh Simmons was awesome. I thought Noel Williams did some good things getting thrown to the fire when Christian Fulton got hurt again. You look at Omar Norman Lott getting his first career sack and suplexing Jalen Hurts. There was some bright spots for some young players, and the young injection of talent is going to be much needed because a lot of these, the aging of this team is starting to show a lot more and more as this goes on. Travis looked a step late. And here's the funny thing. I think 2025 Travis is still better than 2024 Travis. I think we're he doesn't look bad. I don't know, man. I know he made some mistakes, but
so here's the thing. Last year, Travis Kelce was hefty, and so he wasn't much of a receiver. I thought his blocking was actually pretty decent last year. Not good, but pretty decent. I don't know if we're getting the same blocking out of him this year. Now, part of that's because the Chiefs aren't asking him to as much, but what is Travis Kelce offering right now? I get it. They have nobody else that can catch and get open, and he's still their best receiver, quote unquote. He's still their best guy. But if you are lining up all of his positives and negatives right now as a receiver, are we sure it's coming out to a net positive plus the blocking? Last year, he wasn't good, but I think you add in the blocking, it was still above. I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just even after the dropped touchdown to interception, he had that out route and he was just drifting upfield like a rookie McCole Hardman trying to run an out route for no reason whatsoever. Right. It's just, I don't know, man. I watch him and he looks like a guy that is physically looks better than last year, but mentally he looks like he's trying to skip steps to catch up to what his body is no longer capable of doing. It's kind of like what veterans do. Sometimes they lose it physically. Sometimes they looks like they have it physically, but mentally they're a step behind. It's just, he's making mental errors at a rate that I don't think he has in the past. I'm that hurts.
That drifting upfield on that out route was a little surprising. I just think, and you're right, I think the mental side was not good today. But man, the physical stuff, I don't think he physically could have done it last year. Some of these plays after the catch, probably. I don't think even happened. And that's what the conundrum is here for me is I don't even think he makes those plays. He's not stiff arming Cooper DeJean down the field last season.
That's true.
He's tackled at the point of contact. So it's just there's two sides of it. There's two sides of it, and he's a tick late on some stuff, that's for sure, and maybe just not as sharp with some stuff as he used to be. It was brutal, some of those mistakes down the stretch. Man, just so frustrating because I do think this game was winnable. Even though the Chiefs didn't play their A game, right? I think defensively, I think there's a lot to be excited about as far as just being able to slow down this Eagles offense. I thought that was encouraging. And I think Spags called a tremendous game. This team just, they gave up 2 short field touchdowns, one off of the missed field goal by Harrison Butker, and then the other off of, off the hands of Travis Kelce into Andrew Makuba's, and shout out Josh Simmons again for that tremendous effort. But yeah, just, I've gone 10 minutes without talking about the tush push.
Already? That's fine. We can do that. Okay, no, here. You're taking a big side. I'm going to come in here. I, earmuffs for children, fucking hate losing to the Philadelphia Eagles, and even more so that stupid play. I hate that play. It's not fun. It's dumb. I have no fair or not fair reason to dislike it. Well, I didn't coming into the season. I've now changed my tune on that too. I've did stance. I just don't think the play's fun, so I want it banned because it's boring to watch and stupid. However, I've been paying more attention this year. I think the Eagles cheat on it every single time. And this isn't me being salty about not being able to do it. I think if you run a non-cheating QB sneak, they're probably still going to convert just as many. Maybe they convert one less, right? Maybe it's one less per game or whatever. Maybe they go from 93% to 87% conversion. They still win this game with no matter what for this part, right? This is not me saying the Chiefs win without it. However, last week, they were aligning guards over the football. The center moved the football underneath him, so he was aligned over the nose of the ball. The guards were touching the tail. That's all illegal. That's all legal formation. That's a penalty. If you can't call it, then the play's got to go. This week, they got even worse. They were false starting on every single one of them. Every single one. They were false starting, and the guards were firing off before the ball moved. I don't know how you can't. You can't ref it properly. You can't ref it the way it has to be. You do not know how to judge this play. You got to get rid of it if you can't judge it. I'm sorry. It's just that stupid. It's a stupid play. And if you don't know how to ref it, it's got to go. If you can figure out how to accurately ref it within the rules of the game of football, whatever, keep the lame play. But if you can't, it's got to go. It's the stupidest play in all of football.
It's not the reason the Chiefs lost, but it absolutely changed the game strip, and it absolutely changed how this game was played for the majority of the second half. A lot of things change in how that game is handled if that play is appropriately officiated. I mean, at the goal line, it's 4th and 1 and second down, third down, fourth down, all of these downs, and you're pushing them back to the 6. You're pushing the ball back to the 6-yard line for the false starts from the offensive line, from the interior offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles. It was brutal. It was absolutely brutal to watch it happen over and over again. I will say, though, I'm pretty sure on the last one, they finally got the message, and I don't think the guards false started on the final tush push that closed the game, or the third down tush push that closed the game. So there's that at least. Yeah. At least they finally learned their lesson there, right? They got away with it for the entirety of the game. I tweeted out, I think the refs had the chance to do the funniest thing ever on that 3rd and 1 and call the false start. That would have been actively hilarious. They go the entire day without calling it, and they finally get it right the last one. That would have been funny. But
you know what's garbage?
What?
Fox, after the first 2, didn't go back and show every single one of them 100 times like NBC did to Juwan Taylor's false starting. They stopped after the first 2. They showed, and they're like, oh, we don't need to show this anymore. We don't need to keep driving it home. NBC didn't get that message on Juwan Taylor's false starting.
Yeah. And Tom really needs to cape up for his guy Mahomes there on that one too, right? Like he
did a pretty good job. He can't, given his position, he's gotta walk a very thin line with this because he technically is an owner. So
you mean like going to production meetings for all of your opponents?
So he can't do too much. But even the competitiveness of Tom got the best of him. He's going to get a stern talking to about how he can't do that because he's an owner. But the competitiveness got too much of him because he's like, what is this? They're clearly false starting
every single time. Yeah.
Hold on.
I know.
Yeah, Bucker missed a kick. We haven't even talked about Bucker missing a kick yet because that mattered.
Well, and this is what's so frustrating. That is the defining moment of this game in some ways, I think, or maybe not the defining. There a lot of things could have changed after that moment. But Chiefs are in plus territory. They get a false start by their 30-year-old running back Kareem Hunt, who pushes the ball back 5 yards, makes the field goal that they eventually kick that much more difficult. Harrison Butker pushes one wide from 58. Was it 58 yards that they tried?
I don't think it was that far.
I think it was.
Maybe.
I believe it was 58. I believe, yes.
Oof.
So it's just they push it short field now. You're talking about a 52-yard field to defend now. Eagles go down and score their first touchdown of the game. That was a huge, massive 10-point swing. Possibly more if the Chiefs convert that third down before the Kareem Hunt false start. I mean, that sequence of events right there, we talked about the veterans at the top. That sequence was brutal from Hunt, from Butker, and just a rough one. Oh yeah, and then the Chiefs decide to go for it on 4th and 1 yard. We haven't even talked about this one. 4th and 1, your territory. First,
when your defense has been playing good, your defense has been playing
good,
essentially lights out. Your offense has sucked.
And we run the robust double tight triple line back formation with Noah Gray lead blocking, pull the center.
Yeah.
What? Noah Gray versus Nolan Smith. You're running right at Nolan Smith, and Jalen Carter's over on that side too.
Well, and Noah Gray already got blown up by Josh Uche on a run. He already got dominated by Uche on a run. So now you're going to have him try to like kick out Nolan Smith, or was Creed supposed to get over there? I don't know. That was a pretty bad play call or play design or calling the situation, but I just hated the decision in general. I don't understand that decision there in the moment. Like, you're playing a defensive game. This is one of the few times where Andy, who's usually relatively conservative, probably should have continued to be conservative and let the defense go back and forth. At the very least, you're going to force the Eagles to drive the entire field, which they hadn't shown the ability to do at that point in time. So that was just a blunder. That was a blunder by Andy, and it was a blunder of a play call choice by him. And then later, it's 4th and 7. They're down 2 scores and they punt. Like, best case scenario kind of happened. They gave up one. They got one for the defense. Gave up 1 first down, but when they got the ball back, they're still down 2 scores with what? Like, was it 4:30 left? I think, or 3:30, whatever it was. It was like not that much time. It's like, why are you punting on 4th and 7 in that situation, down 2 scores, when your offense has shown no ability to move the ball down the field quickly? At that point, even when you have driven the ball down the field, it's been slow, methodical drives that have been short play. How do you think you're going to have enough time to do that twice and score points with that much time that was left? So I didn't think Andy was on his A game either with just the game situation management.
The Eagles' longest drive today was 59 yards.
Yeah, they were good. The Eagles didn't play a good. I don't know if it was going to play a good game. They didn't look good versus Dallas either. So maybe the Eagles aren't as good as they all thought they were going to be coming into the year as well. Like, the Chiefs obviously haven't been. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's not like the Eagles look great in this game. The Chiefs have offense full of guys that can barely play, and the guys that can't play are making crazy amounts of mistakes, and they still had a chance to win this game on a couple different occasions. So I don't know. Neither team played particularly well, and the Chiefs just came up short. And I think Andy Reid played a big part of it.
I agree. Some of the decision making from him was not good. The Eagles struggled to put together complete drives in this game. I mean, the only time that they put points on or put touchdowns on the board were short fields, less than 60 yards. That was it. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. I know it's tough loss today. I know there's going to be a lot of great games out at GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium. So I'm calling all Chiefs fans. You could be on the field at the 50-yard line inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
Just a short drive from Kansas City. Experience the history, the heritage, and the bourbon at Holiday Distillery. Tour Missouri's oldest distillery, where real Missouri bourbon is made the old-fashioned way. Walk the grounds, taste the tradition, and take home a bottle of something special. Make the trip, sip the story. Holiday Distillery, Weston, Missouri. Book your tour at holidaydistillery.com.
What's up, guys? I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network, and I'm here to talk to Kansas City businesses. If you rely on technology, you need an IT support team that's not just another vendor, but a true IT partner. That's how I want to introduce you to my friend and neighbor, KJ Miller. He is a VCIO at ThrottleNet, the Midwest's highest rated and most reviewed IT support company. They've been in business for more than 25 years, helping companies stay secure, productive, and ahead of the curve. They aren't just IT support, but they provide data security, IT strategy, and cloud software services. They do it all, and their reviews show they do it better than anyone else. So if you want to hear about how ThrottleNet can help your local business, join the conversation with myself, KJ Miller from ThrottleNet, and our resident genius from KC Sports Network when it comes to IT, at least as he's affectionately known by us, Mr. Craig Stout. Click the link in the description to hear how ThrottleNet can help you.
Appreciate everyone hanging out with us tonight as the Kansas City Chiefs have lost to the Philadelphia Eagles 20-17. Tucker D. Franklin now joining us here on the KCSN postgame show.
Yeah.
How are we feeling, Tuck? How you doing?
Well, look, I know that Kent on the KC Laboratory this week, I know that you picked the Kansas City Chiefs not to win this game.
Correct.
And I think that was kind of a sentiment around Chiefs Kingdom for them not to win this game, but it still doesn't make it any more frustrating for what happened. I'm looking at this tweet that came across my desk here from James Palmer. And the Chiefs fall to 0-2 for the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era. And James Palmer says 12.2% of teams that have started 0-2 since 1990 have made the playoffs. That is 35 out of 288. Next week, the Chiefs obviously do have the New York Giants, so hopefully they can get in the win column. Giants looked kind of nice. We'll talk about that for a whole week. But that's a little uncomfortable if you're a Chiefs fan to see that stat and to see where the Chiefs started 0-2, see how they've played so far this season. Obviously, look, I know I've got some stuff I want to say about the tush push. I don't want to say it now. I'll save it till the end of the show, so we're not just keep talking about the tush push in the comment section, just thinking that we're blaming this game on the tush push.
We can wait for Andy Reid to non-answer about it.
Not the tush push's fault. Stupid play still.
Yes, it's not the tush push's fault that they lost. There were several reasons that this team lost other than the tush push and other than officiating. Here's the thing that is so frustrating to me, and I tweeted out about this, is it seems like, guys, that we are back in the same spot that we were a year ago with Patrick Mahomes being so uncomfortable and seemingly not being able to trust anyone on the offensive side of the ball. I think Patrick Mahomes has to do way more than what should be expected of him, and the one guy he does trust hands the ball to the other team. That's at the spot we are right now, where I do think, obviously, he trusts Travis Kelce, but how much can he trust him if he is just handing the ball to the other team? He hasn't played very well these first 2 weeks and at the end of 2024. I know you guys already talked about Travis Kelce a little bit, but I think it is so frustrating to watch him try to decide who he can trust and double pump twice and then say, well, I just have to run this ball to get the first down. The reason that game was tied early on was because Patrick Mahomes decided to be the leading rusher, the leading passer, and hell, if he wanted to be the leading receiver, he could have been the leading receiver too, because nobody else was doing anything. And I think that is so frustrating. I understand that there's a lot of context that goes into this, right? Rashee Rice being suspended, the shoulder injury to Xavier Worthy. None of that is expected heading into this season. When you have Hollywood Brown out there being your leading receiver, I mean, for a little bit there, more than 3/4 through the game, you have 18 yards from your wide receivers. Like that can't happen. I think there's a clear uncomfortability. I think I might have just made that word up. There's an uncomfortability with Patrick Mahomes in this offense still, just because it feels like he doesn't know if he can trust anybody.
I think offensive line wise, it's looked better this year.
I agree with that.
In a short stint, but now all of a sudden the offensive line's better and they lose their two top targets in Travis Kelce. I mean, Travis Kelce's not what he was. I mean, we talked 24 versus 25. There's Travis Kelce in 2023 in that Super Bowl against the San Francisco 49ers, and now it's the version we have the last two seasons. So he's not a number one target. He's not a number one option. And the Chiefs' number 1 and 2 options are hurt. I think it's just a matter of they don't have any skill players. And I don't know how many teams and how many quarterbacks could handle the kind of skill attrition that they're dealing with right now. I mean, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith off that roster. And it's Jahan Dotson that they're throwing to. I don't know how that looks, right? I mean, we know the Bengals, right? It's Andre Yoshivas and Mike Gesicki instead of Jamar and T, right? But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of panic in Kansas City, and even though I'm immensely frustrated, I am going to caution everyone on that, because I do think that this offense will look significantly better once those two skill players are back. Like, I think there is a version of this offense that can be fun and explosive. And that's why the 0-2 stuff doesn't scare me all that much. Relative, I think the Chiefs are in that 12% comfortably this year. So I'm not scared of it. I think they're going to go out and they'll play a lot better football as the season goes on, especially if the defense stabilizes the way it did this week, right? So we should probably talk a little bit about that defense, right?
Hold on. I want to jump in on this offensive weapons thing real quick here. I think it's fair to say that the Chiefs don't have their top two offensive weapons, and the guys that they are left with, especially the way Kelce is playing right now at this point in his career, it's very difficult for Patrick Mahomes, and he's not a lot of help, and he definitely needs more help. And like any team without their top two guys is going to face some issues. 100% agree. I think that's all fair. I'm sorry, you're an NFL coaching staff. You're telling me that through 3.5 quarters, you can't get a wide receivers to have more than 18 yards? That's not, no. If I'm going to sit here and rip Mahomes for missing the wide open Tyquan Thornton, because any NFL quarterback should make that throw, I think any NFL coaching staff can get more than 18 yards out of their wide receivers at that point in the game. Like, that's not fair to just say they're not talented. You could get practice squad wide receivers on pick any team right now, the Cleveland Browns, and they would have more than 18 receiving yards. Like, there's something more than just the guys aren't good enough that are out there because of injuries. There is something missing from whether it's the way the plays are being called, the way they're being the order they're being called in, the scheme they're coming up with, the route concepts the Chiefs are relying on right now. It's more than just a talent issue, because as we've seen, like, Hollywood Brown is still an NFL level wide receiver. He can still get open if you put him in advantageous spots. Tyquan Thornton, NFL wide receiver. He can still take advantage of certain stuff. Juju's not, like, at this point in his career, can't move great, but he can still catch the ball when you throw it to him. So at some point, the coaching staff has to take a little bit more heat for not getting guys that aren't your one or two wide receiver better looks and getting them open. Because we saw a fair amount of wide replays from this game, whether for runs or pressures or whatever. A lot of plays have dudes just completely blanketed. And like, you got to give them a little bit more help if you're Andy Reid and company on this stuff. And I think it is a little bit of modern defense is very well structured to take away what Andy Reid really likes to play or like wants to run right now. And they aren't doing a good job adapting without Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice out there. They got to get better. If they want to beat even the team like the Giants, they got to get better at getting better looks for these wide receivers. You can't live the way they lived the first 3.5 quarters of this game.
I don't think I can argue too much of that either. You what you got, Tuck?
I got one more small thing. How come the ball keeps getting batted at the line of scrimmage? That's really frustrating to me.
Oh,
that's one thing that it's one of the things that's really maddening. It's happened last week with T.R. Tart was obviously the guy who was involved in a lot of that. And now you got guys in the interior of the defensive line who are getting their hands up there and those passing lanes getting deflected. And how come the Chiefs can't do that move either?
Well, they have to be remotely close to the quarterback to make that happen.
That's
so there's that part of it.
I have another answer to that too.
Oh.
Outside of the final drive, after the final drive where they were just chucking up YOLO balls to Tyquan Thornton, I wonder what the average depth of target was for the Chiefs. I bet it was pretty low. So if you're a pass rusher, why would you not be getting your hands up if you not have a clean path to Mahomes, right? Like, against Mahomes, there's always going to be a couple D linemen rushing a little bit more for contain or to keep eyes on him. And if that's your job, why are you not trying to get your hands up? Or even if you are a guy trying to get pressure and you don't get into a gap right away, put your hands up, because most likely the ball is coming out quick. And if Mahomes is throwing over the middle of the field, I hate to say it, but he's probably throwing the ball within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. He doesn't really challenge 5 to 20 yards over the middle of the field anymore. And it's annoying because that's where a lot of good offenses have success now. So I think it's just the structure of this offense and the way they operate right now. You might as well throw your hands up if the ball even looks like it's coming out over the middle of the field in the first 2 seconds.
Well, and I think that was a little bit by design the last couple of weeks too, right? And as the depth of the bench at receiver thins out, and, like the Eagles have a very good pass rush. So how do you mitigate that? You get the ball out of your hands quick. And Mahomes, I think I saw at one point, it was 2.4 seconds last week, is 2.5 seconds this week. at one point in the game. And, they sustained a long drive with some short passes, right? The 14 play, 74-yard Travis Kelce tip ball interception at the goal line possession was just dinking and ducking their way down the field until the Chiefs made that crucial, critical error that cost them the football game. That's part of the deal right now. That's just part of the deal right now. That is, if you want to talk about coaching, that is part of how they are trying to operate right now. That is what they are trying to accomplish here a little bit. I think they have the short game. They are trying to out execute down the field, and they had it right there. They had it right there. They put a beautiful 8-minute drive together, and then they blew it. And they blew it with their Hall of Fame tight end at the goal line. Frustrating. That's part of what the coaching staff is doing a little bit here, is they are content with some of the short stuff. They completed 2 passes for 7 yards at one point. It was just like the quickest
drive,
hitch.
they had three completions for 9 yards. First
drive
out of half, I should say.
It's just, and credit the Eagles. Like the Chiefs are going to try to take these 3-yard plays, and the Eagles were ready to close on them. Now the lid opened up a little bit that last possession. They had 2 shots down the field and converted one of them, but yeah,
I got a quote from Patrick Mahomes. Rob Collins tweeted this out. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes on the Kelce interception at the goal line. I threw it a tad too early. If I could put it on his body, he can catch it, take the hit, and get in the end zone.
Okay.
Thanks, Pat.
I love Pat, man. That's you're not going to throw Trav under the bus. Something else this is from Charles Goldman. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. We played 2 good football teams and made mistakes in big moments. Facts. Mm-hmm. We're coming together as a team. It's not how we wanted to start, but it's how we respond. Some examples of some mistakes that he took ownership of, getting a ball batted and missing some deep shots. So that showed up a couple times, the things that you've been talking about, Tuck. And Patrick Mahomes also says, I know it sucks to hear it for the fans, but I feel like we're close. We've got to keep working and get ready for the Giants week. I think he's right to a degree. Like I do think things will get easier, and I think they'll find some things. And I do tend to believe that, like Maddie said, there are a lot of positives in this game. The problem is the Chiefs weren't in a position to have any margin for error, and they made the errors. And that's kind of what the last 2 weeks have been in a lot of different ways. Is there's just not enough margin for error right now with this team. Yeah. They don't have it. And they're not going to have it for probably at least 4 more weeks. And they're going to have to find a way to scratch some wins together to see if what they have with a Rashee Rice worthy battery is enough, right? They're going to have to keep plugging away. And like you said, like you just got to keep pushing through. You got to try to find a way to scratch a few wins here in the first 6 weeks of this season, and then kind of go from there. Because it ain't going to get any easier. It's not going to get any easier for this team. And help is not imminent as we sit here.
I have one more point on the Travis Kelce interception. Jesse Newell tweeted this out, that Travis Kelce's drop turned interception was worth negative 7.1 points per RBSDM.com.
That's it?
Moved the Chiefs' expected win probability from 53% to 24% on that one play right there. Yeah, I think I quote tweeted that, and I said, I think the kids call that a real kick in the dick, because that's what it was.
I feel like it should have been worth more points. Honestly,
Yeah,
like if I were to get expected points, like 7, like you lose 7 just from not catching it right. Like I get expected. You don't expect the Eagles necessarily to score a touchdown from there, but like they were pretty close to field goal range, right? Like they were in field goal range after the return or right there at it. So it just feels like it'd be closer to 10, just off the top of my head.
Awful play. One of several that cost the Chiefs that game. But like that's the National Football League for you, though. Small margin plays are what defines wins and losses a lot of time in this league. The worst teams in the National Football League, literally any given Sunday, can compete. If a few things don't break your way, it can be problematic. And that's, the Chiefs they weren't good enough in the big moments, and a lot of players kind of let them down in this game. Defensively,
this is impossible to talk about This is impossible to talk about because what about this? What about what happened on the defensive side of the ball is overly sustainable or relatable to the next game they play? They blitzed Jalen Hurts on 56% of his dropbacks, and they weren't just sending one extra guy. These were cover zero type blitzes the majority of the time. I don't know if you can take anything from this game plan and just that worked out great. The defense played really, really well. I want to be clear. It's just, and we should talk about it. I'm not saying we shouldn't. Just, I don't know how to talk about it because I don't think you see this week in and week out. So, like, what's the take-home message from what you just saw defensively?
Some good things in man coverage. I think Noel Williams did some good things in this game. From pure takeaways, maybe they feel like they can play a little bit more man moving forward, and maybe they're going to have to be a little bit more. Maybe they're going to have to be a little bit more measured with their blitz choices, and this was just like a hey, we can't get down 0-2 kind of game. But I don't know. The run defense was good again. Like I think that's another takeaway. Yeah. Like this team can stop the run. We know that.
Well, sometimes
all this talk
sometimes
about,
they can't. It's very weird.
Well,
that touchdown was ugly.
Yes.
They did well. They did well versus the run. I don't mean to say quick. They did very well versus a very good running team in the Philadelphia Eagles. And even more so, they kept the big explosives bottled up, right? You didn't get that 20, 40, 50-yard touchdown run from Saquon.
The longest run of the game for the Eagles was 13 yards by Saquon. The longest pass play was the cover zero heave slot fade to Devontae Smith against.
It was underthrown by 10 yards.
That was only 28 yards. Can you guys believe that? I felt like it was so much further than 20.
Because it went 50 yards up. Because it went 50 yards up and then landed 28.
And then Trent Williams and Trent Williams. I combined Noel Williams and Trent McDuffie in my head. Those guys got lost in the same zip code. I mean, that one at the beginning of the game where Noel Williams had no clue where A.J. Brown was or where the ball was. He was lost, but at least made a play on A.J. Brown. Trent McDuffie never turned around and looked for the ball, which, I mean.
Yeah. I haven't seen where he got beat on that because like he was definitely beat. And Noel Williams got beat so bad that he had time to like, I just got to go tackle AJ Brown and hope they don't call a penalty, which they didn't. Like
he turned to look for the football and kind of got lost. Like, yeah.
Trent McDuffie was at least like nearby, but he had lost the rep. The ball was just so underthrown that he didn't even have a chance to try to make a play on it, which right. I mean, hey, listen, Trent McDuffie sometimes has an issue with tracking or locating the ball. And usually it comes up against AJ Brown, not against Devontae Smith. And that was a pretty big play in the game. You would like to see your cornerback one do a better job in that situation, but it's also really hard again when a ball's underthrown that badly and you have a cornerback who is essentially thinking, I need to catch up this ground. I need to get downfield because I can't get beat over the top. There's no help. And then the ball gets underthrown like that. It's a really hard play to have to come back to it. You still want your top cornerback to make a play on there. Coverage generally was fine. There wasn't wide open guys left and right. And I do think getting out of so much of Spag's kind of exotic zones and just getting into a lot more, I had to go back and watch, but it felt like a little bit more basic from a coverage menu. And it felt like there were less guys running wide open. Now, the issue was if they weren't sitting in the house, they got zero pressure whatsoever. But I mean, it was nice to see that the coverage, like in particular, looked a lot better this week.
I don't think the Eagles were as well positioned to, I don't think Hurts had the ability to do some of the things that Herbert did to them coverage wise. Like the ball doesn't get out of Hurts' hand quickly the same way that it does Herbert. So like Hurts takes a little bit longer developing. So like if you're gonna try to kill him with some of the switch release stuff that the Chiefs were struggling with against the Chargers, I don't think Hurts is uniquely capable of exploiting that. I don't think Russ is either next week. So there's a good sign there. But so like, I think, there probably is still some things that are worth questioning, especially since the pass rush is non-existent. At least Mike Dana and Christian Fulton got hurt too. So there's that. And we're out for the game almost immediately. So that's also nice. Pass rush. I mean, they didn't even spend that much time. They didn't even spend that much time trying to find out, really.
No.
Like they didn't really try to find out what they had or if they could do anything. They just said, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to send people all day. They sent two, like the Devontae Smith play. They sent two safeties. I think they sent two safeties from depth on that play. They went 0 and they sent 2 from depth. Like they were trying to hold a shell and show them, and they brought pressure from depth. They were trying everything, and it was all just predicated on pressures all day. And Hurts didn't handle it well. Hurts did not handle it well. Yeah. Out, and then even that throw to Devontae Smith was more Devontae Smith than Jalen Hurts. But
can I read you Jalen Hurts' final stat line for the day?
Yeah.
15 to 22, 101 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, was sacked twice. Rushing the ball, he had 9 carries for 15 yards and a touchdown. His longest rush was 11 yards. So it's not like Jalen Hurts was a world beater. It's not like that this, I've thrown this up a couple times already on the postgame show. You look at the team stats. Like, it's not like that they ran all over the Chiefs or
they didn't.
They had one less first down than the Chiefs offense did, and we're talking about this Chiefs offense being so maddening and frustrating, right? Like their third down efficiency, 36% of the time they're 5 for 14 on third downs. They had 217 yards. The Chiefs had 294 yards, and they had one more play. So it's like one of those things where 3.7 yards per play for the Eagles, 5.2 yards per play for the Chiefs. It's one of those things where it feels like the Chiefs kind of outplayed them on that side of the ball. And look, going into this game, I think that was going to be a big focus, right, of how the Chiefs would perform when the Eagles had the ball. That was the big focus, especially after how they performed against the Chargers. And it feels like that they answered to that pretty well. To Maddie's point, how sustainable was that answer that they had? I don't know. But it was a pretty good game-specific answer for what they had of just like, okay, let's just throw the kitchen sink at them, which was perfect. Like, that's how it worked. And it was kind of like, in some regard, like the Super Bowl, where the defense just kept this. The defense really kept the Chiefs in the Super Bowl a lot longer than people think they did. The offense just couldn't get anything together.
Couldn't do anything to save your life.
Yeah.
I don't know what's like the lack of pass rush is not sustainable.
Right. Correct.
That's not sustainable. That's problematic. And there's no help coming. There's no, Omar Norman Law, hey, congratulations on his first sack. That was cool.
He was rock bottom, dude. He took it to rock bottom.
Yeah, he
That's
did.
a finisher.
Yeah, he smoked Jalen Hurts. But that's help is on the way. That's it. You basically saw every defensive lineman that the Chiefs have in this game. That was it.
Nothing's changing there.
Right.
Nothing's changing there.
We know that, yeah.
No, the Eagles' offensive line is obviously a difficult one to get home with for because you don't, especially the way the Chiefs rush, because it's Chris Jones, go find your guy, and the Eagles don't really have a great guy to go find, and the guy it is what Tyler Steen, who's still like a capable starter. So it's not like he's just gonna. Now, Chris Jones of 2 years ago probably has a field day with a guy like Tyler Steen and makes you respect that a little bit more than he is capable of right now. But he's still functional. So I don't know. It's the pass rush won't get better, and like that's what I said. That's like this game's really hard to find takeaways from because. If the defense is going to go out there and go full Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores, and literally just go full cover 0 50% of the time, like, hey, maybe there is a little something there and just create a bunch of chaos all the time. And maybe that will be their plan until they can figure it out. But anytime they tried to play coverage or anytime they had to force something without blitzing, it's just the pass rush there's just nothing there. It's really tough to watch. There was a play where Leo Chenal tried to rush against the left tackle, and after like 2 steps into it, it just became a run blocking play where he was just getting shoved downfield because he couldn't get off of the block. There was another play where he came in late, and the Eagles peeled off of just double teaming the defensive end and just rocked him. And like the Chiefs had nothing. Nobody could get any pressure on their own without the blitz coming through, and that's going to be a tough way to live. But also, we saw Spags slow down this offense by doing so.
Did you see Chris Jones talking to Jalen Hurts as the Eagles were kneeling down?
I did see that.
Making fun of Jalen Hurts for not even getting 100 yards.
It's just tough because he did.
And he actually
Did
did.
he get like 101?
He got 101.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Glad the $35 million defensive tackle's doing that. That's awesome.
Look, he hasn't had – there was that first drive there too. He also, I think – it might have been the Eagles' first touchdown drive. He had that encroachment, which was really close to encroachment. I'm not really sure if it was.
It was,
and then it
was offside. I think he jumped early too.
It was a first drive.
The first drive he had 2 penalties on the first drive that basically allowed them to score. So it's been It's not been the best 2 games for Chris Jones so far to start this season. I think he's probably going to not want to remember those.
Yeah, it's
been
frustrating. I think what's frustrating with that is like you are seeing we talk about seeing cracks.
Yeah.
You had Drew Tranquil actively losing it on Chris Jones last week.
Uh-huh.
You saw some stuff with Chris on the sideline today, and then you see this little tirade at the end of the game.
Yep.
Like the amount of yards that Jalen Hurts has matters even a little bit.
What does it matter?
To your team lost, bro.
Right.
Your team lost. I don't care.
Yeah.
Congratulations on holding Jalen Hurts to 101 yards. You're 0-2. Like 2 straight weeks has not been pretty there.
Nope.
Visible frustration with your $35 million defensive tackle. Some of the there's just it doesn't look right out there right now. It doesn't look right out there. The championship versions of this team, I don't think we've seen. I mean, we've seen some back and forth, no doubt about it. But 2 back-to-back weeks where we're seeing little stuff that doesn't sit well with you, with your highest paid player on the defensive side of the ball. Not loving the vibes over there. Not loving the vibes at all.
Oh no.
We're going to take a break, and we'll talk more about that and more right after this.
Hang on. There we go.
What's good, everyone? It is KCSN betting analyst Benny Heiss. You know, something hit me as I was driving to the Missouri side, ironically, for something not available on the Kansas side. I cross over. I just can't get over how long sports fans in the state of Missouri have been waiting. It feels like forever. Good news is you don't have to wait much longer because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is finally coming to the Show Me State. If you're thinking, yeah, but I got to wait on the sidelines until December 1st, it's not true. You can sign up right now. And when we go live, new Missouri customers get $300 in bonus bets just for placing a $5 bet. $5. That's not even as much as a pumpkin spice latte that's going to take over. So it's not some ragtag sports, but this is DraftKings. You got live in-game betting. So if your team starts hot, you could jump in mid-play. There's lightning fast payouts. None of that wait 3 days for your money nonsense. And you've got more ways to get in on the action. There's no better way to start. It's all from your phone. When we go live, you'll be betting with a sportsbook trusted by millions, safe, secure, fast withdrawals, everything you want. Well, except maybe a guarantee that your team will cover the spread, but that part's still on you. So here's the move. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use code KCSN, and when we go live December 1st, that $5 bet turns into $300 in bonus bets. That is code KCSN in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus and physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after they are issued. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story, like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner in possible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Chiefs fall 20-17. I am here with BJ Kissel, Tucker Franklin. I'm here with BJ Kissel, Maddie Lane. There we go. Now
my bad.
No, you're good, man. You're good. Any other defensive thoughts, Maddie? Like any other prevailing thoughts on the defensive side of the ball for you?
No, I mean, not really. Honestly, I thought, and Noah Williams only played a handful of snaps, but he did a pretty good job when he was in there. I thought Jalen Watson had a good bounce. Shamari Connor had a good bounce back game. And like there was the really bad tackle attempt on Saquon Barkley where he came in high, but he also completed like 2 tackles before that, hitting guy AJ Brown, I think, and then Barkley, or maybe it was Barkley both times high and bring them down. So it's hard to get too mad. I thought defensively guys played a lot better. And outside of some of the run stuff on the first touchdown drive, I thought that, generally defense was good. I just don't know how much you can take away. I do want to talk about the offensive line again, though. We mentioned earlier, I thought Josh Simmons was the best offensive player for this team. You go on like Pro Football Focus now, grades games live. I don't know how that works, but they do it. And Josh Simmons has a terrible run blocking grade for them, but his pass blocking grade is good enough that I think he comes in as like one of the top 5 graded offensive players for the Chiefs. I think he was the best. I just generally think his pass protection was really good. There was a couple plays where he seemed like he got on the back hip of a rusher, but he's so athletic that he is able to continue to maintain leverage and run them around the pocket that he at least gives Mahomes somewhere to escape to. He gives him space to get out of the trouble that might be there. So it's not even like really a pressure. It's just a nuisance. And I think he does a good enough job that when he got beat in this game to do that. And then for the most part, he was picking up blitzes. He was picking up stunts really, really well. So I thought Simmons played a great game. His run blocking is never going to be his bread and butter, but I thought it was completely fine in this game. I didn't notice him getting blown up. I didn't notice him missing major blocks that were getting run play stuffed. So good play by Simmons. Sliding over to Kingsley, a lot more up and down. There were some really quick losses in there, but I thought his run blocking was really good again. So like, it's been more of the same, I think, for those two guys, but I did want to highlight that. I really thought, we're not doing a toast game for this loss, I don't believe here. So I wanted to highlight that I thought Josh Simmons was excellent.
He was awesome and ultra competitive too. Like, I love that about him, right? Like, there were so many pre-draft narratives about him, right? The character, all this stuff. And like, I don't think there's been anything even close to resembling some of those concerns to this point. Loved the football character that he showed today. I think that was one of the brighter spots on the offensive side of the ball. Is even when he got beat, he was fighting. He was fighting to regain ground. He was fighting to just there's one play he got beat real quick in that last possession. Like, he just kind of hung in there and did everything he could, even though he was not in a great body position. He just stayed competing. And then you saw him do what he did to chase down Andrew Makuba down the sideline. What a play by Josh Simmons. Like, that is the kind of stuff that that will endear him to this team. And those are the signs of a guy that I think is going to be one of the best tackles in football when it's all said and done. I really do think he will be a top 10. He might be on our list next summer, Matthew, in the top 10 of the tackles. Like, he keeps playing, he keeps doing what he does.
Maybe he's already on mine.
I was going to say.
He's already there.
There's some proof out there.
He's number 1, I thought.
He's number 1. Trent Williams' spot has been replaced because he did not look good.
No.
So I just want to talk offensive line real quick on this. I know Tucker's got some stuff that we want to jump in here with now, coming from Herbie here. Right. But I just want to talk about Josh Simmons real quick. I did thought he was really good and deserved a little bit more recognition than we gave him just off the start. It's kind of like starting in with some of that good.
They tried to run behind him and Kingsley early, and it worked. Like, I think the first run play was actually behind both of them, which I thought was kind of cool too. Just like a little nod to them there, challenging them. I think they stepped up and they rose to the occasion on that play. And I think Josh Simmons had a tremendous second game as a pro, and I was glad to see. I was really nervous he was hurt for a sec. Glad to see he was back. Yeah. Glad to see he was back. Okay, yeah, Tucker, I think you said you have some clips from the locker room for us.
Yeah, sound from the locker room. Herbert Teope has our boots on the ground, obviously, there at Arrowhead Stadium. He's there. He caught up with Nick Bolton, George Karlaftis, and a couple of specialists, James Winchester and Harrison Bucker. Talked to both of them in the locker room after the Chiefs loss here. Here's what they have to say. We'll go Bolton, Karlaftis, and then if round out with the two specialists. This is from Herbie Teope, lead reporter at KCSN, just from the locker room.
Yeah, like you said, since I've been here, I don't think that's ever happened to us. So yeah, it's definitely different, definitely foreign. But when you find what your team's made about, we've got leaders in here to do it. We've got coaches. We've got a nucleus of guys who've been here for a long time that understand what we need to be and how it needs to look in order to get where we want to be. So that's our mindset, that's our goal, man. Get back to work, try to get 1-0 next week.
How much do you feel you got?
What needs to happen for you guys now, moving forward? Just what needs to happen for you guys moving forward as a team?
Obviously, we need to watch the tape. Kind of see what's going on. Just coming fresh off the game. Obviously, just I feel like finishing, just details. Little things and in critical situations, just pressing on the details and just being on our stuff every single play.
James, an 0-2 start. What gives you the confidence that you've been here a while?
Yeah.
What's different about this 0-2 start from maybe you overcome that?
Yeah, I think we're close. I think, there's some things that didn't go our way tonight, but, playing a great team, and obviously we got a great team in this locker room, and we trust the guys, offense, defense, special teams, and, it might be unknown territory being 0-2. Obviously, that's not how you want to start the season, but we got a lot of games left, and now it's on to next week. So, trusting the veteran leadership in this room to get it done, and there was a lot of guys playing good ball tonight. So, just move forward, and we look forward to getting back to work on Wednesday and Tuesday morning, honestly, and get ready for New York coming up on Sunday.
Boom. Okay, great. Harrison, you've been with this team obviously for a lot of years. What is the general mood of the team starting off 0-2? I don't think that's ever happened under Matt Mahomes.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been here since 2017. I can't remember ever starting 0-2, but it is what it is, and obviously you don't plan on starting 0-2. It's unfortunate, but we'll have to continue to attack every single day. It starts in practice, and then, I got to execute better in games, and we just got to do a better job.
How does it help also knowing you've got great leaders like yourself, Mahomes, Chris Jones?
I think you can never get too down on yourself. Like you said, we have great leaders who have been at the big stage before, that have done well, that have had success over a long period of time. So you try not to overreact too much over the hiccups, and you try to trust the process, trust what you've been doing throughout your entire career, and hopefully success comes.
Sounds from the locker room as the Chiefs fall to the Philadelphia Eagles at home 20-17. I do think, you hear a lot of the comments from those veterans and some of those veteran leaders, and I don't think there's panic there. I'm sure there's frustration. I'm sure there's probably as much frustration as there's been probably since the 12-5 season that, ended in a Super Bowl victory. I don't think there's panic. I know that the 0-2 stat, but right. I would bet on this team being in that 12%. I would not be counting out the Kansas City Chiefs in any stretch of the word, because help should be on the way sooner rather than later as well.
What I do find interesting about those comments there is you're right that they don't seem to be too rattled by this game. They started off the schedule. The early part of their schedule is the hardest part of their schedule. And we've talked about that ever since the schedule came out, right? And we knew that this first part of the schedule was going to be tough. Obviously, they go to New York. It's going to be an 0-2 team versus 0-2 team next week on Sunday Night Football. People are already asking if they can flex that game out of the Sunday Night Football slate with two 0-2 teams early on in the season. But Kent, I'm curious your thoughts. Coming out of this game, are you more frustrated about week one or what you saw from the team in this one?
More frustrated last week, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how frustrated I am.
Different frustration for sure. That's especially how I feel.
I think it's probably week one. I mean, the Eagles are a better team than the Chargers.
Yeah.
So I think I'm more frustrated with week one. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how frustrated I am in general too, or I'm debating if I should be a little bit more accepting. And that's not a great place to be at 0-2.
Yeah.
And that's not a great place to be watching one of Patrick Mahomes' seasons, right? But yeah, I think that's where I'm struggling a little bit here. Like maybe it is like I think in the back of Chiefs fans' minds there is at least a little bit of doubt of like, man, maybe the wheels are finally just completely falling off, right?
Yeah.
And there's like just a little bit of doubt about it. And I don't think I'm ready to say that, because I think we've seen this team look a lot more dead and a lot more hopeless and then win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I think that actually might be, I think Chiefs fans' brains are ruined in a lot of ways. And I think like even like the Super Bowl last year, right? Just getting smacked upside the head with reality very quickly.
Yeah.
And then, like I think we've seen worse versions of this football team win the Super Bowl potentially.
Right.
So it's just hard to navigate just anything and try to figure out what's real and what's not about this team. Right. Like that's what makes it really hard about being a Chiefs fan, the luxury of this whole thing. Right. So, I don't know, man. I don't know where I sit right now. I don't want to say I'm numb to all this, but I just so fully expect them to come back that I think reality hitting if they start 0-3 would be kind of jarring, at this point. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how frustrated I am, or if I'm just kind of like, well, they're just going to go 14-3 now. They're going to reel off 14 of the next 15, and they're going to be right in the 1 seed race, and they're going to, they're going to They're going to host the Chargers in the AFC division or wild card. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think that's just kind of where I'm at right now. So remains to be seen. Until they're out, I'm never going to, I don't know. A lot of questions in my head right now about where we sit with this team and what's real and what's not, and how much is alleviated simply by, the 2-star receivers coming back.
It's also week 2, I think, also helps out a little bit that there's so much more football to play. Like, I think that also helps. And I talked about the schedule. The back half of their schedule is seemingly fairly light when it comes down to it. It seems like they could put themselves a run together, and it seems like they could be playing the best football at the best time, which is obviously what you want. But so I think that there's a little bit of that to it. I mean, look, you got Baltimore coming to town in week 4. I mean, you're going to New York to play them on Sunday night next week, but then Baltimore's coming to town. You're going to have the Lions. They looked pretty good this week against the Bears. The Bears might just suck, which could be true. But then, I mean, Commanders they looked good in their first game against the Giants, but not very good against the Packers. Like, they've got some teams coming to town, some real measuring stick teams coming to town to see where they kind of slot in here. Obviously, all without their number 1 wide receiver that they planned on having this year. So it's interesting to see how, like, the feeling was, and I don't know. This was a very strange game feeling wise, because as I talked about, it was one of those games where I necessarily didn't expect the Chiefs to win this game, but they were in it, and they were in it to the very end, basically. And when it came down to the tush push happening, that's basically when it got put away. And look, man, I know you guys talked about the tush push. I didn't get to get any tush push stuff, and I said I was going to save it till the end. We got some super chats I want to get to too to kind of close out the show. But I have always been at the forefront of just I don't care, tush push, I just think the Eagles are really good at it, right? So I don't think that's a reason to ban a play because the team is really good at it, right? That's what I thought. Until today. Today is the day that I have decided that the tush push should be banned. You have Dean Blandino on Fox saying, I'm done with it. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Dean Blandino said this play is too hard to officiate. And I don't want it to be banned because because the Eagles are so good at it. I want it banned because no one officiates it correctly. That's why it should be banned. I think that gets kind of strewn out and taken out of context and out of proportion, is that people are like, oh, well, you just don't want the Eagles to run it because they're so good at it. No, I want it to be officiated properly and fairly, and it's not, and it has never really been. And now this year, I think it's really been magnified how improperly that the tush push has been officiated, and it's clearly a competitive advantage for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're really good at running it. There's other teams that run it that don't do it like they do, obviously because other teams follow the rules when they do it. So I think that there's a little bit of two sides to a coin there. They can't officiate it properly. They have too hard of a time spotting the ball, clearly, when they're doing this too. So it's just too much for the officiating crew to have to deal with. And you've got analysts, and Tom Brady is kind of fed up. You're getting commentators, broadcasters, analysts, rules analysts. They're saying all right, this is too hard. This is too hard to officiate. We got to get rid of it. So I think it's coming to a close, obviously, and this year, if the Eagles make another run with the tush push and they end up winning the Super Bowl back-to-back because of the tush push, I think you might see a little bit more of a magnification on the play. But, man, today was one of those days that it was really frustrating. And, again, the Chiefs did not lose because of the tush push. That's reason all the way at the bottom, right? That's at the bottom of the list of things that the Chiefs lost because of. And the officiating, you throw that down there too. I mean, we're not complaining about that. I mean, it just has to be fair. It just has to be fair. It has to be officiated properly, and it was not done like that today.
Well, the center lines up off sides, and then the left tackle, left guard, and right guard all move before the ball's even snapped.
Right.
And I've always wondered, it's Hurts takes the snap and then waits a second. It's because the rest of the offensive line is moving before he's even getting the football. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. And I think the thing that drives me nuts is Nick Sirianni gets away with it.
Yeah.
I think that makes it worse.
I know I don't like him. I don't. I mean, look, I understand as a fan of a college team that has a head coach that people hate, I get it. I understand it. I feel like I'm in an okay position to say that I don't like Nick Sirianni because of the college coach that I enjoy. Eli Drinkwitz and Nick Sirianni are like probably the complete opposites of each other, I would think. But he is the same. They're in the same column of you love this guy if he is your head coach. You hate this guy if he is going up against you, and he is one of the most infuriating coaches to watch for me. Just his smug demeanor. He's perfect for Philly. Like that's the thing is that he's perfect for that team. He's perfect for all of it.
He's Ryan Day. He's NFL Ryan Day.
He really that's a phenomenal comp because he really is like. And here's the thing too, I don't really even hate the Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts is a fine quarterback. I think he runs that system really well. I like Saquon Barkley a whole lot. I think he's a really good running back. AJ Brown I think is a very fun wide receiver and is very talented. Like that ball that he caught like behind his head when he was falling down, insane. He's so good. I like some of the guys they got on their defense too. I liked Cooper DeJean coming out. I wish he would have been a Kansas City Chief instead of returning a pick against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Nevertheless, they got a lot of guys I like on that team, but their head coach, man,
he's 2-0.
He is,
and he's got a ring.
Apparently, he's better than the Chiefs head coach.
Third base. You said you had some super chats before we get out of here.
Yeah, I do. Dr. Ozzy, shout out early on, not hitting the panic button on the offense, but until we see Rice worthy. But encouraged by the D- the pass rush for sure. Thank you for that super chat, Dr. Ozzy. I think that is incredibly fair. Tad Schroeder said, explain how the tush push is a legal form plus false start. I think we did a pretty good job
that.
Covering that. Tad, appreciate that. Sorry, we're just now getting to it. Primetime Rambo, shout out for your super chat. Noah Gray has been non-existent.
Yeah, and it's still early. Give it time. I think they tried to make him part of the game plan a little bit more this week. Mahomes overthrew him on that one. He was wide open on a corner route in the first possession.
Yeah.
Got blown up by Nolan Smith. Absolutely owned by Nolan Smith. So there was that.
Yeah.
Any more?
Big Bob wasn't really. I saw him in there for some blocking stuff, but he didn't really get in a whole lot of run. We anticipated him to kind of be more of the blocking guy. Last one here. This is that is a lot of words that I don't think I can say.
I'll get it. With how the offense is playing. Oh, you're talking about the name.
Yeah, I was talking about the name. ATG 3192 is what I'll say.
Zila the Brotaku.
Yeah, there you go. With how the offense is playing, Rice might get 2,000 yards in 10 games when he gets back. Also, Trey getting worked, or was it just me?
I thought Trey was fine. There's definitely some reps where I think there's some linear nature to his athleticism, right? And like what works like on the 4th and 1 play, right? You run behind him. I think Jalen Carter got him a couple times, but Jalen Carter's going to do that for everyone. But no, I don't think Trey was a big problem in this game. If I'm being honest, I don't think he was like super problematic. So, thought Tuck forgot how to read. I didn't know where you were going with that. I was like, I started reading. I was like, what?
Definitely did.
What is wrong with these words, Tuck? It's just a lot of them.
I also have big breaking news. Kurt Benkert and Will Compton have agreed that it does not make any sense why the tush push is legal. So so both Kurt Benkert and Will Compton are now on the Chiefs side.
Why did we have to dignify that to close the show out?
I thought it was funny, Kent.
I thought it was interesting.
Next gen stats, according to them, the Eagles blitzed Patrick Mahomes 11 times after not blitzing him at all in the Super Bowl. They also played man coverage 3 times in the second half compared to 9 times in the first.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Nothing too surprising about any of that. I didn't think they were going to just come out and do the exact same thing they did because I don't think the pass rush is as good as it was last year in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. That defense, I talked about it all week. That defense lost a lot on it. Like
it really did,
and they kind of had a little bit of a brain drain a little bit too on the Eagles when it came down to it. But they were the better team, maybe.
Yeah, Chiefs weren't good enough, and they got a lot. They got a lot to work on before they can get back to the mountaintop. So hopefully that they're able to correct some things, and hopefully they can get right against the New York Giants on the road. That'll be an easy game. Can't wait. By the way, that defensive line, the Giants' defensive line is better than the Eagles' defensive line.
And
just
the Chargers.
You know.
Yeah.
And
they're going to be the best one they've seen.
It's probably the best defensive line in football.
These were probably this week and next week are probably the 2 best offensive lines in football, right? Wouldn't you say the Eagles and defensive lines? What
I think
what
the
team do
jury's.
you have?
I think the jury is a lot more out on the Eagles defensive line than
Okay.
we. I don't think it's the same.
That's fair. That's fair.
So jury's still on that, but the Giants D line is legit. The Giants D line is legit. We're gonna find out how the Chiefs handle that and all the good things that KC Sports Network will be breaking down this game further detail during the week. But then we'll also turn the page and get you ready for that Chiefs Giants game next week. It's going to be a big one for this football team as they try to get right. That is going to do it for the KCSN post game show. That's Tucker Franklin. I'm Kent Swanson. Thank you all so much for listening. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll catch you later.